Our pickup here. That's a really good engage on the side of Biscuit Force 5, and that also lets them control a bit of the disengage as well. Nautilus hooks in, just headbutt him out, and it's that easy.
So while I doubt it is Brand bot, Brand is actually a really good pick in an Alistair during the early game. So I'm hoping they actually choose to flex the Nautilus into the top or the mid maybe, but they do have a lot of flexible options here on the side of SPR.
And the Mordekaiser here, I was suspecting something. I would say it's going to OG Juice Man in that mid lane, actually. I've seen him play Mordekaiser. It's a particular favorite of his, and I'm sure they were just, like, taking the Malzahar for, a test run game one. And let's see, going back to the drawing board, let's reevaluate it. All right, let's get this man on this Mordekaiser game too.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to take advantage of that while stealing that pick from Borkfuse, like we said. Looking on the side of SPR, that Amumu and Brand do combo together with Amumu's passive reducing the magic resistance of his enemy he auto-attacks. Actually, it might even apply to his spells. I can't remember the last time I played Amumu. And that Varus pick's going to go away to make sure they don't just shred through his tanks this time.
Yeah, I especially like that. Limiting the DPS is going to be one of the key factors here for Biscuit Force 5, and the Twitch also banned away. So Packer Diehard going to be a little more pressed to go deeper into his pool and find something. And on the side of Biscuit Force 5, if there's one thing I'm looking at, it's this AD carry matchup here, because you want to get a good matchup here in order to allow them to dominate that bot lane, because the Alistar and the Nautilus is going to be a fun time, and they have control over the lane in terms of like engage and disengage windows if they get a good ADC matchup here. This is right here, the Sivir pick. That's what I want to see. This is like the clearest like Sivir pick in the world. They've locked Ashe. Sivir counters that lane so nice. Please pick Sivir. Oh,
yeah, and
no!
holy ADC ban.
That's not a Sivir! I dig
it. Play Sivir on BF5. It's okay. You can jump away from the multiple engages. He does have an option to kind of manipulate these stuns that SPR is throwing out. While thinking about the SPR picked an Ashe into Nunu Alistar. I'm not sure how Ashe really maneuvers these team fights.
Yeah, it's going to be rather difficult for Ashe. And unfortunately for her, this might not be a game for the poke build. So many takes, man. There's just so many takes.
Well, I can't imagine Ashe will actually be the main carry now that a Syndra has been locked in. I just don't see Ashe actually finding a place in these team fights, but maybe I'll be proven wrong. Hopefully SPR sees this and decides to put another damage threat. Kayn was left unbanned here, but that's actually for the other side. I can see another jungle threat maybe, or top threat. Oh, I like the Aurelia pick. That's perfect.
Good pick, especially because there's nothing on the side of Biscuit Force 5 that can really answer that split push in the late game. I'm so excited to see this Aurelia come out. And into this top lane matchup, it's actually likely going to be into the Mordekaiser, so that might be a lane well worth abusing. You have outplay potential on the Claw, but you just got to respect the Mordekaiser's dueling potential.
Yeah, I'm actually from experience, Mordekaiser versus Aurelia is like a 99-1 matchup in the favor of Mordekaiser, sadly. But Aurelia does have the advantage in the first 3 levels. Maybe she can pick up a nice gold lead and sit on it. There might be whispers of Rob actually flexing the mid lane with that Syndra and trying to dominate Juice Me Daddy.
I could see it. That'd be very fun. So that puts... who's that put AD carry then? I guess OG Juice Man?
OG Juice Man, possibly.
That'd be very interesting to see. You could possibly put Juice Man on the Mordekaiser top and then put Mudkips on Tristana, though. He was originally an AD carry main, but remember back to his time on Ashen's Obligated Fitters, that man got flexed the heck around.
Yeah, from last season. That's a good point. So let's just go ahead and analyze these. While you're fixing the stream, we're going to put you on double duty task. Let's go ahead and analyze these lanes and see how these go. So starting in the top lane with what is most likely going to be Mordekaiser versus Aurelia, sans Nunu being flexed up there instead. How do you think that matchup goes? I know I gave my opinion on it, but how do you think the
outplay
fights actually
potential
go?
on the Claw, so that's really nice. I think I stated that earlier, but Mordekaiser is gonna have some issues pre-6. Once he starts getting points in his Obliterate, his Q though, it's gonna be a little bit of pain and suffering for Irelia unless she can control trades. Irelia's looking for the quick in and out trades on this one, avoid that shield from the W, drop the stun, go in, get the nice damage. So the way Irolia works, right, you essentially set up your stacks of Ionian Fervor on the minions, and unfortunately they removed the shield shred on Ionian Fervor, otherwise she'd be pretty good into this lane, actually.
Oh, she would crush this
Yeah.
matchup if she had that.
So
But yeah,
the
but as it stands,
Mordekaiser
yeah.
will absolutely like shove his mace up Irelia's butt 24/7 if she doesn't play the matchup right. But if she plays the matchup right, she can completely control the flow of the lane. The quick in and out trades with the stun, and you just keep one minion alive. You move with your fervor, with your passive, right? You should be able to out trade. You get the Conqueror proc. You know, you get a couple of Conqueror autos. You dart out, you dodge the claw. Easy peasy.
Oh yeah, wow. So outplay potential has to be on the side of Aurelia here. That just seems like a lot of work. So we move into the jungle. Mumu versus Nunu. This is not a matchup you see very often. What are your opinions on it?
So it's kind of like last game, except replace Mordekaiser with another random tank that really doesn't do much. Both of these junglers are looking to do the exact same thing this game. They're looking to run into lanes and gank each other. You know, just for the sake of just for the sake of being pedantic, I kind of want to see these two just have a wet noodle 1v1 somewhere, like, so badly. I want to see that happen. Nunu should probably win it because Consume and a Skirmisher's Saber, but, like, I just want to see it.
Yeah, and Amumu doesn't really have a way to get away once that duel begins. So hopefully Amumu just never crosses paths with Nunu during this game. So now we move into the mid lane matchup between Syndra and Brand.
You know, Brand is one of the few champions that can actually compete with Syndra's range, and because Syndra is, I believe, a base 325 movement speed champion, I'd start looking for some decently early boots early on in order to, you know, dodge this Brand, sort of dodge the Brand W's out. So, you know, I'd go Biscuits, and then I consider probably Stopwatch. That would especially be good against the Nautilus and the Ashe. That would be an option to take it for if you're Syndra, and it allows you to avoid the magical footwear. So maybe on your first back, you can pick up fast Sorcerer's Shoes on that, because if you can dodge out Brand's skill shots, he's really not going to do much to you. And on the side of Syndra, you have some pretty decent outplay potential. You have the stun set up with your E, you know, your Q, E combo, and she has good all-in as well. So if I assume it's going to be Rob on the Syndra, we'll go ahead and make that assumption. If he, you know, breaks out the juking Jordans and puts his skills to work, he can really dominate this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Traditionally, Syndra has been a positive matchup into Brand, as Brand was created to defeat Annie, and then Syndra was defeated to create Brand. We'll see if this remains true going into this. Going to the bot lane, your Dominion with the Tristana Alistar versus the Ashe Nautilus.
So
What's your take?
Tristana Alistar actually has control of the all-in in this lane. It's going to be rough for them if they can't get it, though, because the Ashe poke is going to be pretty brutal to play against, because Alistar doesn't do well against poke. Tristana, a very short-range AD carry as well, also doesn't do well against poke. And so they play to the strength of their poke in this lane. They zone control. They can get it to the point. They manipulate the wave. They play it with the wave. They can absolutely get this lane to the point where the Alistar and Tristana can't feasibly all in them without losing at all. And so if they play it well, it should go to Ashe Nautilus 100% of the time. Like, if I was playing this game in high elo, Ashe Nautilus should clap the lane. But, you know, I think as it stands right now, if they can get a good all-in off, and especially if Nunu can come down on this lane, I'd be so scared of Nunu ganks if I'm this Ashe Nautilus, because that's their one win condition. Alistar and Tristana, really good control over the all-in this lane, because Tristana has rocket jump to escape a lot of things, and also to go in on them, and Alistar as well. He can engage with Nautilus, and he has disengage options, and Nautilus doesn't have disengage options, so look to see the jungle playing a bit of a factor in this one, but if junglers don't touch the lane, Ashe Nautilus should probably win it.
All right, so hear me out. So Rob did switch to take the Syndra, and OG Juice Man did take the Tristana. However, Summoner spells did not change. So hear me out. It's Syndra, Alistar bot lane,
That would
Tristana
actually
mid
make a
lane.
lot of sense, though, because the Syndra has a pretty decent matchup into the Ashe. I'm not too knowledgeable in mage bot lanes, but you know, apparently they've been like watching some G2 VODs or something. You know, we got our own resident perks here on the PMA LCS, taking the Syndra bot lane, and we were talking about that base. You know, we are talking about like low base movement speeds, like 325 movement speed, especially being a factor in that mid lane. It's still a factor in this bot lane here, because Ashe also has the lowest movement speed in the game. movement speed in the game besides dismounted Kled. 325, meaning she's going to have a rough time dodging these Syndra stuns. And Syndra with the all-in combo, pretty mobile as well, and because she doesn't even auto-attack, doesn't have to stop to do any part of her combo, like, typically Ashe or Tristana would. And in this mid lane, Tristana actually has a decent all-in on Brand. But the Brand can just hold his spells for the Tristana in the mid lane, and just blow him up
Right.
when he comes in, get a nice stun combo off. But I want to see the Ignite from Tristana on this lane. I think that'd be so good, because in an all-in circumstance, unless you jump into minions and a Pyroclasm bounces into the wave, Tristana should win that, especially once she gets a Blade.
Yeah, that's a solid point. So now that we discussed that possible swap, let's take a look at these teams again. So if you're a Biscuit Force 5 with this Mordekaiser, Nunu, Alistair, Tristana, Syndra, how do you win your game?
So I think this
What is your
comp
game
is
plan?
actually a fair bit more. This comp, I will say, last game's comp was pretty good, but unfortunately, the few weaknesses it had were preyed upon in the draft by Saving Private Reckless, right? This game, I feel like they've shored up those weaknesses. They have decently effective DPS. They still have Rob on something that's bursty, that's fun, that can make plays. And Happy by Threes returning back on the Nunu jungle. That seems to be his pick. They have tank busting as well in the Mordekaiser this time, which is going to be a little important until that Amumu. Their win condition, they have a lot of CC. They have a lot of zone control. Nunu's got the absolute zero. Syndra is a master, well, should I say a mistress of zone control, because you slap spheres on the ground and then someone walks in there, looks at you funny, you just stun him. And Alistar, he's literally a walking zone. Like, you walk into his radius, he combos you, and you die.
That's a fair point. So now going across the river to the other side, if you're Saving Private Packer Diehard, how do you win this game?
Well, from Saving Private Packer Diehard, I'm looking for what I'm looking for last game in the early game, except that's all game. You're looking for explosive engages from the Ashe and the Amumu, the Nautilus. You're looking to completely wipe the floor. Like, you're looking to completely wipe the floor with Biscuit Force 5 in the early stages of the team fight, or die trying. And if you don't wipe him in the early stages, it'll probably be die trying. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's a good point. So now that we've analyzed both and analyzed every lane, what side do you give the advantage to this time?
I personally think I like... I don't know. Both of these teams have really good comps. Actually, if Saving Private Reckless was literally like the same players, but with Biscuit Force 5's scrappy do tendency, I think I'd give the win to them, but it's the flip side. So, it's really difficult to say. Yeah.
Wow, it's really
It's a very
non-committal
non-committal
answer.
answer, because last time I committed, I looked like an idiot last game.
well, with the benefit of Costa Curse, we'll go ahead and give it to SPR so that BF5 can maybe tie this game 1-1. We have a question from chat. Do you think Nunu will eat Amumu's camps for breakfast?
That's actually a viable option in this matchup, because Amumu is horrible against invades. Like, literally, so if you look at lane matchups for Biscuit Force 5 here, the Mordekaiser could probably do okay into the Irelia. We could probably do some of that stuff. They have the lane matchups to where if they assert the dominance there, Nunu can waltz into the jungle and just start eating camps, honestly. That'd be pretty feasible.
Yeah, alright, so our traditional pause at I already blew right by 10, my bad.
Go back to 10, and we are going to edit something real quick, and be right back. Alright, bada bing, bada boom, perfect. And we're back in, I'm paused at 10. You ready, Legends? Alright, 3,
Yep, on you.
2, 1, go.
Alright, gotta get rid of time controls, and then O to bring up scoreboard, and we are ready to go.
Well, thanks for reminding me. I almost forgot, honestly.
It's okay. And as we look at these lanes start off, I do think it will be the Tristana mid
That's
as we
what I'm
predicted.
talking
So I'm
about.
excited. I'm excited to see how this turns out. Your scoreboard is not actually in
I
the
know.
game on
There we go,
stream.
fixed it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
this mid lane's actually going to be really interesting though because Juice Me Daddy has gone with the uh, Glacial Augment brand, meaning your skill shots are going to be a little easier to hit. And I actually think I like this build a lot. The trouble is, I don't know if I want to see the. I don't know if I want to see the. Actually, you don't need Twin Shadows this game. I mean, Rylai's, right? So what you do is you buy like GLP and you either pick GLP or Twin Shadows. I'd probably pick GLP here, and then you can go Leandris, and then because you have the slow coming from the like the Glacial Augment and stuff, you'll still get a decent amount of Leandris burn. So that'll be interesting. It could work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's definitely delaying Brand's power spikes, like traditional power spikes, by going this build. But I'm excited to see what this Frostfire version of Brand can do.
Frostfire, that's... Why isn't he playing Cryocore Brand, bro? That'd be perfect with this.
Dude, that would be perfect. Holy cow.
Yeah, and
oh, we saw no invades early. So, seems like a really passive opening to this game.
Very happy to see that Tristana took Bone Plating into that matchup as well. Pretty much the only thing that Brand's looking to do is trade on him with the combo. So, with the whole 1-2-3 punch, like, you don't get the passive proc removed, the explosion removed from Bone Plating, but you get everything else removed, so that'd be pretty decent.
Yeah. And we see early poke with the Pillar of Flame by Brand. It just seems so difficult for Tristana to dodge that without boots in the early game. So perhaps she's just positioning poorly, but at least she bought that Doran shield to kind of mitigate some of that damage along with that
Yeah,
Bone
there
Plating.
are so many 325 movement speed champions in this game right now, and Tristana, another one of those sufferers of low movement speed, or shall we say ineffective footsies.
Yeah. And it's another Pillar of Flame, but that Bone Plating, once again, with that Doran shield, really mitigating a lot of that damage. And as we see top lane, as predicted, Mordekaiser is commanding the lane since Rayleigh did not abuse that first two level advantage on him.
Obliterate coming out there. That's Mudkips is going to have a little issues into this lane, and especially with the volatility of this lane, the wave position is something you have to respect. Wave position is probably the most important in top lane because you're all melee bruisers, so you have no way of working around minions, and that's some good damage in the mid lane from Juice Me Daddy. Combo comes out, the explosion comes out. Look how slow he is from that Glacial Augment. Not going to ignite though. Good patience.
Yeah, actually, we really didn't touch on the fact that Brand can just auto to set up his combo in the early game, and I think that's so big with that Glacial Augment.
Juice Man though, getting a pretty dank lead on him in CS right now. So, as long as you don't die, you can take all the poke you want because he has the teleport advantage. He can come back the lane, so he can overextend from CS and then come back. He just has to make sure he doesn't repeat that after he teleports.
Yeah, and now that you brought that up, Tristana having the teleport versus the Ignite means that she can afford to take some of this poke as long as she can control the lane pressure. And she does have all those minions coming towards her, so she'll just stay ahead in terms of gold as long as she doesn't die.
Sounds pretty accurate. And I forgot what I was going to say about this top lane, actually. So, oh yeah, I remember now about the wave in top lane. So, because you're all melee bruisers in top lane, right? Oh, actually can't talk right now because we have some action going on in this bot lane river, or do we? The action's actually topside. Necro guy trading on the Mudkits right now because, so you're all melee bruisers in top lane, right? Which means the wave position is even more concerning because if you try trading with anyone, minions are going to hit you for sure. Meaning anytime the wave's pushing towards you, you basically have to sit back and do nothing and let him CS for free if it's a matchup that you don't counter because you just can't trade with him. You can't, otherwise the wave kills you.
No, yeah, it's miserable. You were mentioning earlier that she can just...
Oh, some more action going down on the mid lane. Juice Man, though, that rocket jump keeping him so safe. And you just stand behind the minions. That means Brand can't really get the Seer combo onto him for the stun. So, yeah, overall, Juice Man's playing the lane pretty ham, but it'll keep him at a CS advantage. And if he teleports back, he'll be good to go. Yeah,
so you were mentioning earlier how Mudkips can outplay this lane by having his Blade Surge to a different minion to dodge the Claw and the Obliterates. However, to do that, he has to go past the Mordekaiser. The Mordekaiser will already have generated a shield, and now you can't trade on him because Aurelia does a fixed amount of damage now, especially with that shield destruction. So now That's why I find this lane to be just so oppressive for the poor Aurelia.
Yeah, especially in the earlier levels, Aurelia struggles with this one. And now that Necro Guy's 6, he's got 3 points in Obliterate we were talking about. Like, Aurelia's window is pretty much like levels 1 to 3, right? That's where she can actually play this lane. And then you transition into the early... Like, Aurelia needs a Trinity Force to be able to play into this lane, otherwise it's just not gonna work. Even then, if you pick your fights... It's a Mordekaiser, so if you don't pick your fights carefully, he kills you. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and you can't really ask for a gank after 6 because it's a Mordekaiser. Yeah. So, seems like the game will have to be won from the bot side for team.
Biscuit
the SPR.
Yeah, true. You got me.
Yeah, it's flipped.
Wow. Man. Speaking of which, this game is much more calm than the previous one is. Pretty much all lanes are currently even in CS, though, and nobody's died yet. In fact, they're all perfectly even, but as I say that, Borkbeast comes in for some action in the mid lane. Juice Man taking low, gonna blow back with that Buster shot. But Juice Me Daddy, he's on the prowl, and so is this Amumu. Birthday Cake Head and all flash for flash traded. Borkbeast still wants it, though. Necro Guy's coming down. Can he come down to save his Tristana in time? It looks like he can, and now Borkbeast is caught in a tight spot. He has no flash. Juice Man escapes. And Happy by 3 now is joining the fray. Oh, the flash over! The snowball! And wow.
Wow, the angles on that Blast Pot. Just saving Team SPR from what could have been sudden death. I'm not sure why Mordekaiser never death round the target there. He definitely could have picked the kill for free. And kudos to OG Juice Man for getting out of that alive.
Can you believe it's been like 3 years since we had a Blast Plants or something like that? I feel like it's been so long.
Yeah. And speaking about that early, like, how calm this game is, I mean, it seems like every lane wants to farm except for mid lane. Obviously, Tristana has to win this lane early game, otherwise she can't really generate a lead just farming into Brand. And as we transition into the mid game, AP champions just have a better mid game spike than ADCs.
That's true. Although the one thing I would wager is that Tristana's one item spike is pretty good because you traditionally go play the Ruin King on mid lane Tristana. So her power trough is actually likely going to be on 2 items before she can get her double crit items going. Meaning that Juice Me Daddy is going to look for 2 items here, and Juice Man can probably all in this lane once he gets a Blade of the Ruin King, especially until the GLP.
Alright, but that's so many items away, so now he just has to sit back and farm. And as we see, Mudkip is just getting slammed in his tower, but kudos to him for keeping up in CS anyways, whether this is from Necro Guy's fault or just Mudkip's skill. That's really well done by him.
Mudkip's a quiet, like, hold the line type guy in this top lane. He's quietly doing his job in game 1, and then literally evolving into the big beefy tank they needed him to be in this game. You know, showcasing a little more skillful champion, perhaps some might say, than Scion, and because the Sun for disengage as well. So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, and your prediction came through where Ashe is not going to go that poke build, but I kind of have to disagree with you now that there's a Syndra in the bottom lane. I don't think you ever want to be in range to auto-attack the Syndra with that Blade of the King that he's building.
Just looking upon that matchup, I think the poke would be... I think poke Ashe will actually work. Now that I'm looking at these comps, poke Ashe could actually work, especially because the Brand pick really alleviates a lot of the tank busting factor that they need from an AD carry, right? Because Brand just shreds for % health, and so it's pretty fine. And Mudkip's getting bonked up. Now that's an interesting interaction. Thank God for Patch the Moo.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Moo patches just messed him up as a result of that.
It is so gleefully hilarious. Still watch Moo bandage toss someone and then just follow them when they escape. It's like Blitzcrank is crying tears somewhere, lots of tears. Ooh, interesting all in. Being autoed before that Buster shot though, could have gotten a reproc on his rocket jump and an explosion, so that probably could have autoed for another kill. Flashless Brand would have died.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yep. The same thought. You got another Buster, get the auto. And here we'll see, really nothing has happened right away, so I guess we'll be looking at major objectives to be the first big fight we'll see. And I think the big factor is going to be Rob's ability to delete either Brand or Ashe from the fight before they have a chance to really impact the game.
Yep, and you know, I still remember
matchup
back when I was.
sucks.
God, that matchup does suck. Dude, I remember back when Blast Plants were first released, though. Like, I had this one play where this dude, like, I straight up predicted this Twisted Fate flashing over the wall, so I autoed a Blast Plant right before he flashed over the wall, and he just flashed straight into a Blast Plant and got blown back over the wall he flashed. And I thought it was the coolest friggin' thing ever, especially because, like, Blast Plants were still, like, fresh in the game, you know? I was like, these things are awesome!
4,000 IQ plays, and we'll see the classic. That's the assassin style of playing a lane where you disappear into fog of war just as the wave reaches you, so you can kind of pick off the mid laner. And he's trying it with a brand and nearly landed it on the OG Juice Man there.
Is hovering top side here. Not sure that's where you should be. Mudkip's extremely low health at this point. Like in any other situation, that would be pretty bad. I wish he'd just taken Krugs, but in any other situation, that'd be pretty bad. Speaking of pretty bad here, Juice Man taking pretty low. That's the first blood going down. Rob gonna get flashed on as well in the bot lane. That's quite 2-0 for Biscuit Force 5. I mean, for well, saving Private Packer Diehard, I guess, but Biscuit had getting the trade back kill onto Packer Diehard though, so you know it's not all gloom and doom over here. It's a little bit of sunshine and roses for Biscuit Force 5. Oh man, support wet noodle boy! Woo! Let's go! Oh wait, what is this? Borkfeast stun on Happy by 3 in the jungle. We have the teleport coming in from Mudkips. The stun comes out, goes wide. The dash in, and the ult comes out. Absolute 0 for Happy by 3, doing the best he can survive, but he is gonna go down. Kill goes over to Mudkips. Great teleport from him. Unfortunately, gonna pay the price of a wave or 2 top lane and some turret platings to this Mordekaiser in exchange for that teleport.
Yeah, but they're gonna go in and pick up the Earth Drake for this, trying to pick up their losses. Mordekaiser might just slam that tower some more. He could teleport and change the pace of this dragon, but well played from the side of SPR over here. Juice Me Daddy really displaying that he is the OG Juice. He's the prime, or the Juice Alpha rather, versus OG Juice Man.
Yeah, so does the O stand for Omega then? If Juice Me Daddy's the Alpha, Omega. So then what's the G then?
Go.
Omega, Omega God, Omega God Juice Man.
He's just part of his own chapter. Omega Gamma.
Ah! You know, you're right, you're right.
Yeah, now that we've seen Necro Guy hit this Rylai's and about to crest over level 11, he's going to be unremovable from lane. And although Mudkip's got that kill, the plates and the CS advantage really nullifies the goal that Mudkip's got from that kill. And he's not even going to rush the Triforce. He's going to try to get a wit's end to take extended trades versus Mordekaiser, and that's definitely just not how you beat that champion. You can't just stand in his passive and right-click him to death. He's just going to out-DPS you.
Yeah, so the Wit's End looking like a good idea in concept, right? Because it's definitely viable into a lot of lanes that play similarly to Mordekaiser in terms of that. Really hopes Irelia survive. And Wit's End first Irelia was actually a thing in mid, similar to how Wit's End first Yasuo was a thing in mid lane for a little bit. But unfortunately, Mordekaiser just preys off of extended trades, and that's really not what Irelia is looking for. And when you have the potential to take the quick in and outs using your stun and your Blade Surge, it's better just to go to the Trinity Force.
I agree. I definitely think he should be building Wit's End, just not as a first item here. And here we'll see a Flash Force now.
That's going to be the Flash burned on Garabear. And so, really effective collapse already from Biscuit Force 5. And Pyroclasm coming out in the mid lane. Both mid lanes brought extremely low. He's burning the Flash for Flash traded. Good Flash on reaction. OG Juice Man gonna make it out of that one. Barely alive. But, ooh, the Ash Arrow comes out, and is it gonna find its mark? No, it is not. But I know what is gonna find its mark, and it is Rob's balls in the Packer Diehard's face. And Care Bear gonna get taken down as well under tower. Quote, oops, watching Arrow.
Yeah, and I was just thinking that in my head, she was probably staring at the arrow hoping it hits, but that's a common mistake, just like staring at the shop as your recall. Just fire it and don't look back.
Yeah, the old fire and forget.
Yeah. And that's going to reward bot lane with possibly first tower.
Yep. Oh, man.
So now as we look into this game, Juice Me Daddy is going to try to hold on to this game for the side of SPR, but how do you think BF or SPR comes out of this deficit?
Well, I think you gotta keep Mudkips away from the Mordekaiser. That's the first thing. You gotta do something to alleviate this top pressure. And now that the turret's dropping, he's going to this Mordekaiser's gonna be free to do a lot of things around this map now. I might almost stay topside just because of that Rift Herald, but here we go. The collapse is coming in on top lane. Juice Me Daddy though, gonna get hit up by the claw. Burning in that Mordekaiser passive, but they're coming out now. Necroguy dropping the Death Realm. The flash forward, the Obliterate, but Juice Me Daddy throwing the Seer straight in his face, and it's barely gonna get that kill.
Yeah, that was a slight misplay by Necroguy there. I'm not sure if he knows this about the mechanics of the champions, but if you Death Realm somebody while their ability particles are on the map, when you go to the other map, those particles disappear. So he could have dodged the Pillar of Flame just by Death Realming as a response.
Although it's very difficult to time because the Death Realm has a little bit of time, like while his mace like flies into the air.
It's a zero frame cast, or it's like a 2 frame cast. Yeah, as long as you have vision of them, it's a 0 frame cast. The moment you touch them, like you're in range, you touch them, they're in the Death Realm.
That's actually busted. So even though the animation shows you bringing them in, it still has them.
Yeah. You're shifting the round immediately, yeah. The only thing that'll drop it is a vision drop. So like if the game catches...
No, that visual was fake news, dude. That visual was fake news.
But so not knowing this, Necroguy does lose his life to Juice Me Daddy, and I wonder if SPR should have swapped lanes to give the Aurelia Breath of Life into the Tristana.
Yeah, I think that'd be an interesting take on it. Although the issue is, once again, if the Aurelia had built Trinity Force, would be much better into this Tristana than Wit's End. Now I actually think if Juice Man can get an outplay on it, he can kill him. He's just got to dodge the stun, and with the Blade of the Ruin King, he could probably win the duel, actually.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, man.
Hero watches this miserable matchup
The Punisher himself whipping out his giant mace and giving Mudkips the business.
Yeah, here we'll see SPR take the slight lead and try to set up for Dragon, but there's just no way when BF5 has the teleport advantage for the moment, has the flash advantage here in the bot lane, and they have the health advantage top. How are they going to fight for Dragon from the side of SPR?
This is going to be a rough one if I'm Biscuit Force 5 at this point. Oh man, they're just all chilling on that ward right there. Has anyone got a sweeper? Hey, anyone got any of them, you know, sweeping lenses?
Yeah, if there's a takeaway from these games, I'd say junglers definitely should look to buy the sweeper a little earlier. Maybe, especially when you're setting up for these objective fights. But here we're going to see SPR move into the Dragon Pit right away. They're going to clear out the vision with the advantage they have. They do have their sweeper up, so they can fight for it. That start by Rob actually forcing the Dragon to attack. Biscuit has going to shave off a significant amount of health into the beginning of this fight. They can no longer contest this Dragon.
You were asking.
They have to move
away. My god! Mega Engage comes out, and Saving Private Reckless going to get immediately wiped from that massive Engage combo coming out from Biscuit Force 5 there. Oh my god, dude.
Wow. Yeah, fighting in a corridor versus the Alistar Syndra combo just seems like a bad time. And they even tried to get their Mumu Brand Wombo combo down, but they just don't have the items to supplement this. We were talking about this Glacial Brand, right? They're not the ones that are chasing down their enemies this game. Brand needs that power spike to make sure he can carry this game with that combo.
So, you know, we were talking about how does Saving Private Reckless contest that dragon, and I guess the answer is not like that.
Yeah, certainly not by standing in corners. In the meantime, Mudkip's getting some dutiful damage on the tower, but it doesn't matter. Necroguy just walks back to his lane, and it's like nothing changed up there for him.
I was about to say, actually, you know, I'm surprised that oh wait, All-In comes out in top lane. This is the one area where Mudkips can look for it. Blade Surge back, and here he comes. The solo kill comes out from Mudkips there. Great job, Necroguy, perhaps staying around a little too long with low health, and Mudkips, that Wit's End, can finally take the prolonged fight, finds the kill he needs.
Yeah, well done to Mudkips. I'm shocked that he hit, but another opportunity where Necroguy chose not to use his Death Realm. Perhaps he's not recognizing the amount of advantage it brings into a 1v1 duel when 10% of your opponent's stats don't exist anymore and are now yours.
Yeah, the good old 10%. It's, you remember my Rattatas in the top 10% of Rattatas? So it feels like playing against Mordekaiser. It's in the top 10% of, I don't know, Mace Gods? Undead Mace Gods?
Alright, and here we'll see Biscuit Force 5 trying to look for a mid-tower push, but SPR is going to go ahead and rebuke them as both teams have ample amounts of wave clear looking here. What do you think is the next move by SPR or SPR that they should look
I think
for?
they're looking for an Ash Arrow engage here. You got Amumu, you got Ash, Nautilus. This is so much engage. And Tristana, if you lock her down, has no opportunity to rocket jump. She's not like something like Ezreal with an instantaneous escape. It's reasonably easy to keep her locked down. But an even better target than that would be Syndra, because Syndra has literally 0 built-in escape options into her kit that allow her to traverse any distance on the ground. Obviously, you know, you can do some makeshift, you know, build-a-bear escape type thing with your stuns and whatnot, but you know, she has no way of actually traversing ground other than walking, so Ash Arrow the Syndra from Fog, something like that. Get some wards, sit somewhere, easy peasy. You start the fight off with the Syndra dead, that's going to be a big one for you.
That's a good point, yeah. And here we're seeing Ash just playing this poke bot. Maybe we should have played that poke build after all, but we could be wrong if we go into the late game. Mordekaiser, Nunu, and Alistair will get relatively tanky, so maybe he's just seeing into that 40-minute window into the future. And we'll watch as this matchup just
another
continues.
part of the reason I wish we had the poke build on Ash is it plays more towards the win condition of their comp, because one of the perks of that build is the quick 40% CDR, right? So, you know, Ash Arrow starts at 60 seconds level 6 and then drops by 6 every level. So level 11, you have 54 seconds on your Ash Arrow after completing your items. You get Transcendence, you hit level 11. Literally all you need is your first item and then a Caulfield's or a Sheen. And you have 54-second cooldown arrows that you can fire wherever you want, wherever you please. And then you hit late game, 48 seconds. It's really effective for forcing engages, and I wish we could have seen that.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we'll see if I do too, but we'll see if her game plan for that 40-minute window, like I said, will actually overtake it. And here we are going to see an ARAM mid, it seems. Everybody's just sitting mid, not sure what to do. I guess we'll just wait until the next dragon to see the next fight, as both teams will just be defensively
and, you know,
wave
I was talking about earlier when we need some more ward control in this game, right? You know, get some ward control, get some de-warding in there, so we can set up some picks with this Ash Arrow, right? Imagine if our jungler had one of those items that helps you clear wards. I think it's called Norgo's Lens.
Yeah, eventually maybe they'll get one.
Slowest bandage
like
toss I've seen, but that is a massive 3-man ult. But they just don't have the follow-up. The Nautilus ult comes out, but although Necro Guy's extremely low, the Ash Arrow comes in. Morpheus has finally found Necro Guy. That's going to be a double kill on the side of Saving Private Reckless here. And Biscuit Force 5 turning tail and running for the hills.
Yeah, wow, and SPR find the cash they need, despite the fact that Brand was not there to capitalize on the Mumo. They really get enough targets with the tower damage and that Bork damage actually coming through. If everybody's stunned, they can't turn on her. Bork actually making sense in the end. And we'll see Necro Guy go down, unfortunately, along with his buddy.
And Mudkid's fighting off a little more than he could chew under that tower, getting a bit aggressive. Rob makes him pay for it with that unleashed power. And back to that engage earlier, that was a really well set up engage from Morpheus. Whenever you're playing junglers with explosive engages, you are always looking to play into Fog of War. Much like Assassins, you know, always played a Fog of War to look for free kills on the unsuspecting opponents. Engaged junglers that have gap closers also look to play to the Fog of War in order to really enable plays like that. And so he drops the bandage toss onto a minion, and then from there gets a free ult because they weren't suspecting it. And I don't know why, but on the screen the bandage toss looked like it was in slow-mo, so that's why I said it was the slowest bandage toss I've ever seen. He kind of just like oozed in there and then ulted people. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, fortunately for Biscuit Force 5, they caught SPR in a recall window without their main ults, just Pyroclasm available, so they go ahead and sneak in that Windrake.
And Cloud Drake, definitely what I'm looking for here, especially as it's going to help you avoid some of those engages coming out from the explosive team and Saving Private Reckless right now.
And we're back in the NARAM, and we're going to see how we can get this. As ult cooldowns come back up, we're going to look for another opportunity to just blow everybody up. Juice Me Daddy's going to go ahead and reset and probably finish his Rylai's on this reset.
I feel like I've seen this one before, honestly. This is the good old NARAM, as they say here in North America. For fun region, by the way. But you know what? This is a for fun league, so it fits perfectly. Like it's literally straight up a for fun league. That's the point.
Yeah. No OPTSM. BF5 is on the left side, and
Do
SPR
I
is on
have
the
that
right
backwards?
side.
I do. Let me fix that real quick. That's actually a movie. Hold on a minute.
It's okay. And here we'll see Aurelia now has the advantage of this matchup just because she has the gold necessary. She has the base item. She can fight Mordekaiser. However, if Mordekaiser takes her to the death realm, I still think he has an edge
Like
in the
this.
1v1.
BF5 versus BF5. Genius.
And here we'll see Aurelia taking advantage of it. The Conqueror really taking play. As Mordekaiser can't stay in lane versus her anymore. She has the gold lead. She has the experience lead now, too.
Alright, hopefully that fixed things. But anyway, yeah, he's at that Trinity Wits, and now Necroguy's going to have a little trouble doing her because the Conqueror is just going to be super strong. And now that she has some actual, attack speed scaling on that Trinity Force, once he gets her Ionian Fervor, she's going to be slashing at this poor Mordekaiser's armor at like 1.6, 1.7 attack speed, right? And he just can't stand up to that anymore.
Yeah, so let's talk about scaling, right? So going to this late game, Brand and Aurelia are going to grossly outscale this Syndra. So I have to see OG Juiceman putting together some items quickly and finding that crit build, or else he's going to be punted out of this game on his own.
Yeah, and OG Juiceman visiting the bot lane, kind of just standing there, but Mudkit's doing a very good job there. Gonna get blown back by the Buster Shot. So actually with Irelia, the main outplay you can look for there is Tristana's main source of damage comes from proccing that explosive charge. So Irelia's W, I have no idea what it's called though, but it doesn't matter. Actually,
It's like Dancing Blade or something like
weird.
that.
I'm gonna check. You didn't see the stream. Defiant
dances in
Dance
place,
is apparently the name of it.
Yeah, there it is.
So, but when you use Defiant Dance, it's, reduces all physical damage. So when you use it, really look for an opportunity against champions with burst. Time it so that you reduce the damage of their burst. So in that case, I would be using the Defiant Dance in order to stop the bonus damage coming out from Explosive Charge in that situation, right? And the Nautilus ult comes out in mid lane, and Rob, talking about that earlier, going to get engaged upon. That was a sick timing. Juice Me Daddy going to get the kill, and that is a very dead Syndra.
Yeah, I mean, just caught out on his own. Nobody to take the arrow for him. There was no way for him to survive once the Nautilus ult came out. Abandoned by the tanks that are supposed to be by his side. Couldn't even flash out in time.
You hate to see it.
We'll see the win condition for SPR come online, and it does seem like they're going to look to tie up this series.
Yeah,
1-1.
so we're talking about those thick arrows, and they're saying Rob was going to be the priority.
Wait, SPR won last time. It would be 2-0. Yeah, it'd be 2-0. Never mind. You have to swap the score as well.
Oh, yeah. Man, we'll get it right next week. Call that for me, please.
And then we'll see the Brand Power Clouds come out with massive damage coming out from the Brand during the teamfight. Aurelia's going to go wild in the teamfight as she just constantly gets reset Blaze Surge. Necroguy will get the Death Realm onto the Ash, and Pachydier will go down to Necroguy. Necroguy reclaiming some of the lost gold during this fight, and ultimately it'll actually just be for a 1-for-1 despite all the damage that came down. With the claw backwards, he's actually put the claw too far forward to get away from the Brand. It will force the flash out of Brand before he takes down Necroguy.
Yeah, good stuff. And, looking into that fight, fighting in corridors against Brand is never the most fun idea.
Yeah, and with that 2-0 victory in that, or T1 victory in that team fight, SPR is going to look to take this dragon, perhaps start setting up Vision to take the
Yeah, Saving Private Reckless really beginning to assert some dominance over this game. And there's one thing for Saving Private Reckless, it has been scale for weight. Not necessarily in terms of their comp, but they always just seem to come online once you get past a certain point. It's like, past 25 minutes is like real SPR hours or something like that. I don't know what it is.
I mean, yeah, say what you want to say about their laning phase, but definitely their late game team fighting is on point. They definitely draw these teams and take advantage of these easy to execute late game fights.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially in terms of laning phase, you know, there are no slouches either. Packer Diehard and Gerber having a pretty decent time in that bot lane, and Juice Me Daddy as well, standout player when it comes to the laning phases, and he's really beginning to show it. But huge engage coming in under the tower here, Biscuit Hat engaging, and Juice Me Daddy get blown up immediately. Borkvia soon to follow, gets some good stuff in the back line. Mudkits though, he's deep in the back line. OG Juice Man goes down, but can he escape? Caught between a rock and a hard place. Great stun, but it's just not going to be enough. Double kill goes over to Necro Guy there. It's a 3-for-1 in favor of Biscuit Force 5.
Yeah, and without the death row even being used, they can definitely siege this tower into the second tower. Ash can't realistically defend against this.
Yeah, Ash Nautilus is not going to be the ticket here. What would be the ticket is having more than 2 members of your team alive, but, you know, we can't afford such luxuries in this day and age.
Kudos out to Rob over there by catching out Juice Me Daddy immediately and dropping that Syndra ult to delete him from the game before he had a chance to react and burn his combo. Ultimately removing a major threat in SPR during team fights.
And Baron going to be started up right away here by Biscuit Force 5. And teleport coming in as well from, I believe, Juice Man. You're going to visit the fray, but choosing to back off of Baron there as well, saving Private Reckless, completing the respawn. Perhaps could have done all that a little bit faster. Looking for a turn, looking for something at least. It seemed to be a completely pointless series of events.
Yeah, not exactly. Yeah, not really exactly the ideal Baron call. You just got to kill, right? And then it took you another 5 to 10 seconds to take the tower, but then you have to know that your opponent is respawning. And that Baron's just going to be throw, because now you no longer have your cooldowns. You didn't get a shot in, but your dead opponents did. I would have wanted to see them get a recall in instead of...
So before it gets ruined, look at Care Bear's ward score.
Wow.
Nice.
I see where,
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there.
So we haven't talked about the vision game that much this game, and OG Juice Man with a whopping 44 vision score coming out of mid lane. He's been showing up here, but Gare Bear though having some really effective ward placements this game, it seems, with a very nice vision score of 69 here. And Biscuit Force 5 has started Baron, but they're here on the contest, and Biscuit Hat gonna absorb that arrow. All-out fight broken out. Great Mumu ult, and here comes the collapse. It's gonna be a destructive triple kill coming out for Juice Me Daddy here, saving Private Reckless. Gonna clean up that team fight around Baron.
Yeah, catching Mudkid's bottom, they figured, oh, we'll just win the 5v4, but that's not the case when there's 2 giant AoE piece combos in the Mumu and Brand nearby. I'm not sure how they thought they would win that turnaround fight with Baron smacking.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough one, and especially because, oh, speaking of kind of a rough one, oh my god, Rob, he pressed star, Brand died. In all seriousness, good turn from him. That turned a really bad situation into a slightly less bad situation, and, you know, that might actually be enough to, like, really save them from losing this game here, because now they're going to have a nice 4v4 when they respawn, and so, you know, if Saving Private Reckless was feeling frisky, they could probably run it down and find something, especially with the Ash Arrow off cooldown. The Alistar engage comes out, Biscuit Force 5 has found the fight they were looking for. Morpheus gonna go down immediately. Gare Bear gonna soon be the next to fall here. Any second now. Waddling away, dredge lining away. Oh man, that's a lot of people. Gare Bear gonna go down. Mudkip's here over there. He's now caught between a rock and a hard place. It's just one trial and tribulation after another for Saving Private Reckless here.
A valiant attempt by Happy Fight 3, flashing to get that snowball in, but that corner is undoubtedly difficult to drift around. And ultimately, they rarely gets away, pulling 2 flashes with her. But good job by Biscuit Force 5, picking up 2 kills on the retreat of SPR, and really returning the game to more of a medium place than they had it at before.
We could have had the racing squad here. We could have Brickyard. We had Brickyard Scion first game. We could have had Tokyo Drift Nunu from this game, but alas, not to be, because packing that snowball straight into the wall.
Yeah, it's. I mean, no flame to him. That's just a super difficult snow corner.
I would not even try and drift that corner. Obviously, like honestly, this doesn't seem worth it to me. Like that's so hard. And speaking of so hard here, oh no, they're getting melted. Necro Guy goes down immediately, and looks like Saving Private Reckless is on the fight they want. Vanguard's Edge not going to find the mark, but it's not going to matter. The 1 for 0 and the Ocean Drake going over to Saving Private Reckless.
Yeah, Juice Me Daddy really showing his prowess on this brand. I mean, I'm not even gonna say I mocked his Frostfire build early on, saying that he wouldn't hit his power spike as early as he can, but it's actually done wonders throughout the game. He has perfect on-hit slows for these Amumus to set up his ganks, for him to set up his own spells, and now he's about to hit his power spikes. As he just got his Leandries, he's gonna go find that Rabadons, and he's gonna be undealable with from the side of Biscuit
Yeah, so
Force
you're
5.
talking about perhaps like getting the power spike a little earlier by skipping the Twin Shadows, but he has chosen to go the GLP and Twin Shadows. And so, you know, we're probably seeing a little low on those fights from their side because it was taking him a little while to turn online. And, you know, especially that Baron fight was what it took to get him Leandries. And especially in the ensuing next fights after the Baron, you saw Saving Private Reckless annihilating people every time he touched the fights because that Leandries power spike is actually that big. Because now he has items that are, he has an items designed to do damage. And flash forward by Rob, answered by the flash back for Packer Die Hard. Good response. Just getting a pull in, pops the Pyroclast, and that's a massive removal. Necro Guy taken down. Juice Me Daddy gets the kill. Rob next to follow. Rob gets the return kill on Juice Me Daddy though, but it's likely not going to matter. Bookfius in the back line here. Juice Man doing his best to run away. The kiting's good. He's actually going to get out. Biscuit Force 5 could possibly turn this, but Mudkips is here on the cleanup and Saving Private Reckless. It's going to get the 5 for 2 ace and likely going to take this game too.
That must be the game 2 from Savior Power Ryan. They're going to clean out with a 2-0. And I think Biscuit Force 5 needs to go back to the workshop with some of the champions they picked and see some comfort on what they could do on these champions. There's definitely a lot of abilities they could have done better, but I'm glad both teams put up a fight. No team really shied away from every fight, so they made their own aggressive moves, and it was just an enjoyable game to watch.
Yeah, you can teach good macro, you can teach all that, but you can't teach just pressing the button, going in there, and getting the job done. And, you know, Saving Private Reckless, the better team tonight at just going in there, pressing the buttons, and getting the job done.
Well, looking at the second game, if we're talking about MVP scores, short of Juice Me Daddy, who would you also give the MVP vote to?
That's a very good question. Let me take a look here real quick. I'm actually not sure.
And for the chat, I'm not trying to invalidate Juice Me Daddy's performance during the game, but he has shown himself and proven to be an excellent mid player, showing his dominance on this brand this game, definitely carrying the game throughout the early and mid games once again so that their game can get to the late game. So I guess we want to look for a secondary person.
Yeah, I guess we do want to look for a secondary person in terms of what we can look for here on this side of Saving Private Packer Die Hard right now. I really especially liked Mudkips' play throughout the second game as well. He had a bit of a rough time in a couple parts of laning phase, but, you know, picked himself back up, kept the CS lead very even, was able to do a very good job transitioning into that mid to late game. You know, maybe missed Vanguard's edge here, maybe a couple missed stunts here. Doesn't matter. Still had a good showing, and he had a good performance, and he made a lot of stuff happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And from the chat, Vu brings up a good point. I also, I think Mudkips is also just a great candidate once again for this team for MVP. He won. I mean, he survived, didn't die once in what is, I think, one of the hardest matchups for Aurelia early game. And then he ended up winning it, having such an incredible impact in team fights afterwards. Look at him, he even generated the most gold on his team while being so far behind. He made the roams happen because he knew he couldn't win the lane. And I think he just did so well.
Yeah, he had a really good showing on this Aurelia. So I think, once again, my vote for MVP would have to be Juice Me Daddy is like the obvious one, and then Mudkips would be the sleeper one, right? I think that would be the go from game.
Absolutely.
Exactly what happened game 1. I think that's the go for game 2. And that's not to invalidate anyone else's performance on the team, because Packer Die Hard, really good reactionary flashes. Those stood out to me. Like, pretty much every time you got hit by a couple Cinder stunts here and there, but, stuff happens, especially when you're an immobile AD carry like Ash. He had some really good reaction flashes that really protected him.
Yeah, and I couldn't have said it better myself. I was just going to mention Borkface is a movement ult, sometimes catching 3 to 5 members, definitely setting up Juice Me Daddy to look like a star during these fights. Gare Bear setting up amazing picks with his ultimate. Like there were great plays all around, and not even and just like looking at the losing team too. Like we had highlight moments for every player on both teams, and I think it was a well fought match.
Yeah, I agree. Very entertaining to watch. And let's see, gonna drop this, gonna drop that, and now we are gonna drop this straw poll in chat. Everyone, go vote for your Game 2 MVP, Saving Private Reckless. Let's get that, Brad. Votes rolling in already. Mudkips is off to a commanding lead here. Seems 4 votes to 1 already. I remember the first time we did this. We had like basically nothing to talk about, right, during a lull, and so we literally just we literally casted the straw poll and tried to make it as hype as humanly possible. Remember that? Oh, that was so good.
And it seems Mudkips will get the majority of votes this time with a 7 vote. Everybody rooting for the underdog here, as he did once. As I'm gonna say it again, I'm gonna laud his victory, as he did win the hardest matchup out there, and then he just proved his mettle in the
It
mid to
is
late
true. If
game.
there's one thing you want on your team, it's a strong mental. And there's a reason the word metal is so close to the word mental. You know, get out there, test your metal, give them some good mental, give them what you got. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I sound like that one 40-year-old coach in like Little League football, dude. Like actually. All right, so with that, I think we're going to go ahead and call the MVP vote already. Mudkip's off to a commanding lead, and so we are going to go ahead and transition to the MVP interview. Can we please have Mudkips and Juice Me Daddy, I believe, correct, from Game 1? Yep, it's Juice Me Daddy from Game 1 to player of Game 1. All right, hello.
Howdy doody,
Got this
boys.
going.
The Juice Me Dad, the mid lane menace himself of this series. I'm glad to see you here, that player of the game chat with us. And Mudkips, the resilient rock of Team Saving Private Packer Diehard 12 tonight. I'm so
Hell
glad
yeah.
both of you were the MVPs. Do you have any questions to open us
I
up with,
don't. I'm
Chris?
editing stream right now. Hold on. You got any questions?
Yeah, I'll open up. So what? So nobody really knows your champion pool, right? Outside of Katarina or Fizz, and now the Ari, and maybe the brand. So what were your thoughts when you were going into that brand pick? Why did you end up picking the brand?
I mean, I did so season 1, the split one of the PMA I was primarily mid lane before I went top, and Brand was like a huge staple in my pool. There were some people that remembered. I know Eric in our first set of matches last week, he did ban it, which I was sad to see. But no, I saw. I think at that point they had done the Nunu again. They had brought out I think an Alistar, and I was like, man, fuck. It was more to Alistar. I just said it, Nunu, and I was like, I'm fuck this. I'm going Brand. It's like they're just gonna. And then as soon as I did that, and I saw the rest of their team, I saw our team, I was like, I've never done this before, but I think I'm gonna go with the Frost build. I heard someone was shitting on it.
Yeah, that was my follow up build. Or a follow up question was, how did you fall onto that Frostfire brand build? Like, why did you end up going with that?
I mean, the team could tell you. Like John could contest. I was really iffy about it because I knew that like the staple power spikes. And I heard you guys talking about it a little bit. Is like, the Rylai's into the Leandrins. Like that is the brand power spike. But I was like, I'm mid lane. I'm not a support brand. I'm gonna get a lot more money. I can go for a little bit of a greedier build where I can postpone like getting any pin until later. And I mean, it was mostly because I wanted those two items. I wanted those two items, and I knew I was going to sacrifice. I was going to delay my power spike, and I knew I was going to probably not get Zonia's until my last item, if at all. Like it was going to be my last item because Rob was coming for me.
Right.
He was angry, but no, I think especially playing these two matches tonight and then the matches last week. I think especially for our team, the spooky ghost, the vision of the spooky ghost and the kite potential of the GLP are so valuable. Like especially that last fight, like it, just that little slow on the Alistar. Like I feel like things like that opens up everything. And also, it doesn't really matter what I do because my team is fucking all stars and they just make me look like a friggin' god. So,
Yeah, and speaking of All Stars, I have another question from Mudkips. How come you chose that Aurelia into the Mordekaiser matchup?
So I was talking it over with my team. I knew that the OG Juice plays Mordekaiser. I know he's been playing it mid. I know that Necro's also been playing Tristana top. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I still don't know which one it is. There's a potential it could be Sidra mid, and someone else could be going, bot lane. I don't know where anyone's going. If worst case scenario, it's Mordekaiser top. I just play super safe. I rush the Wits End. As soon as I get Wits End Sheen, that's when I can start fighting him. I basically just have to not let him ult me until that point, in which then I get that power spike, and then if I get that kill there, it gets me onto the Trinity Force, and then I can start building towards a team fight presence and start splitting. Um, and so I was originally planning the Aurelia in case it was the Tristana top, but knew that whatever matchup came top, I'd be able to at least somewhat play into.
I mean, yeah, you had that plan and you just executed it perfectly. So I could not be more excited to watch you succeed in that matchup. Just cheering for the underdogs. I'm glad you did. Chris, you got any
good job.
any other questions on your mind, Chris?
Actually,
Yeah, thanks for participating.
you know,
Anything from game one?
considering
Question mark.
I don't know what about game one. But yeah,
Were you guys ever concerned? Because you guys were at a deficit during game one.
We were.
Yes. In the opening, Rob was destroying your bot lane. Like you might not have felt it because you were in mid lane and you're doing fine, but your bot lane was just getting crushed. Like top lane was just a slap fest back and forth, so nothing
I
was
think
happening.
I think what changed it for us, like bot lane was definitely feeling the pressure, and we were having issues with getting vision out because they were so far ahead in bot lane and like being able to roam into our jungle, get the vision down. I think what turned it for us is that huge Scion ult that I had,
Hell yeah.
and realizing that hey, he's tanky as fuck, so we can fight around that. And so we kind of just went with that. Everyone kind of realized, hey, we might have had a bad early game. This is still fine. We just need to play a little bit safer. Let Varus scale up, and then once Varus scales, it basically comes down to can the 4v4, which 4v4 comes out better. Which, looking at it, Jin doesn't have as good of a late game unless he's super ahead. And we knew that while he was super ahead, as we got tankier, it's going to be harder for Jin to burst something like that.
Yeah, precisely, and it worked out exactly that way. So, yeah, you guys. I mean, your team just seemed like a solid. You guys kept a cool head, even though you guys were once again in deficit in game two early on, but you just pulled it through once again.
yes.
Is that would you say that's like a team identity for you guys? Just like take the blows, take the hits, kind of Rocky style, and then you just wait until your opponents tire out and you just come around in the late game.
Well, it kind of just depends. I mean, we had Packer Die Hard in here for this game. When we have So Reckless, he has a little bit different of a champion pool on ADC. So I think that can change what our team identity is. Once we, I think, play a little bit more, and especially with So Reckless, I think that you'll see what our actual identity is. I'm not going to 100% say, though, that it's that, let's just scale for late, kind of mentality.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
so as is tradition, now that we are on to a new and interesting PMA LCS split per se. It is week 2. I feel so bad I didn't get to ask this question week 1. But in keeping with the tradition I did in the first couple weeks of last split, I got this question. So now that you guys have won, let's have a metaphorical scenario here. You guys are going out to a bar to celebrate, right? What are you guys drinking?
Caleb, you can answer first.
Huh? What I want to be drinking versus what I have in my fridge.
If you could drink
I've
anything
just got
to celebrate
Coronas.
this win right now, what would you drink?
Ooh, a big old nice cool glass of Sean Armstrong.
That's that good old Sean Armstrong juice, dude. So that we were talking about our favorite juice on stream in reference to like the juice matchup mid, right? So like both Legends and I, our favorite juice is orange juice. So I guess your favorite juice is Sean Armstrong then?
Hey, my name is Juice B Daddy.
Makes sense.
I'm just gonna say, there's only one daddy.
Ooh, woo. All right, you got an answer, John?
I'm just gonna go with the normal answer here and say an amaretto sour because that's my kind of drink right there.
One. And so, I think with that, that's going to conclude the festivities for tonight. Congratulations to both teams. It was a very hard-fought series, lots of back and forth, very entertaining to watch, and definitely very entertaining to cast. On behalf of the entire stream team, that's me and Legends tonight, and both teams, and PMA LCS administration. On behalf of everyone, thank you for coming out tonight, and we will see you guys very soon. There's going to be so much more action tomorrow, especially some upper bracket play. You do not want to miss it. Good night, guys.